Hi, I'm Zach, and this is Challenger Vedic Astrology and Tarot. Welcome to the channel. So, today we're talking about the true meaning of Revati Nakshatra. And if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out me and the channel. And if you'd like a Vedic Sidereal birth chart, a personal tarot reading, or an astrology consultation, the links to those will be in the description box and the comments below. Alright, so Revati Nakshatra takes place from 16 degrees 40 arc minutes to 30 degrees 0 arc minutes of Pisces. The animal symbol are fish, the female elephant, and the female bear. The deity or mythological figures tied to this nakshatra are Pushan and Revati. And the ruling planet of this nakshatra is Mercury. Alright, so Revati Nakshatra. Let's talk about it. So first, the mythological story for this one. So, Revati was a princess. And her father went to Brahma, brought his daughter with him, to find out who would be worthy of his daughter to marry. Well, Brahma was asleep, and it took a long time for him to wake up. When he did, and he found out that they had been waiting there for so long, he told them that many lifetimes had already passed on Earth, that time moved differently there. So when Revati, and her father learned of this, they were shocked. But Brahma did tell them that her husband would be found on Earth in this new time period. And when she went down to Earth to meet her, new husband, she was much taller than other humans. They had to cut her down to size by using a plow, make her shorter. So, with this nakshatra, one thing we see is a different perception of time. This is a very common running theme with Pisces, but in particular Revati. Revati is very strongly tied to time travel. Another thing you'll see with Revati people is they can be very tall. Very tall for their gender and for their race. This doesn't mean that, an Asian girl, for instance, is going to be over 6 feet tall. But for their gender and for their race, they'll be tall. Now, let's talk about the animal symbols of this nakshatra. So first we see fish. This nakshatra is very strongly tied to the ocean. Not just the ocean on Earth, but also the ocean in the sky. Space. This is the main nakshatra of outer space. And not just space, but also fantasy. Other worlds. This nakshatra is very much tied to creativity, fantasy. It's also strongly tied to music as well. Now, the other animal symbols of this nakshatra are the female elephant and the female bear. So, what do we see with these animals? Well, elephants have a very strong memory. You'll see this with Bharani too. Bharani people and Revati people, they tend not to forget things. They can remember things that happened a very long time ago. But another thing you see is the tusks. because of the karma of elephants being hunted for their tusks. Humans with either Bharani or Revati Nakshatra, and Purvashada and Uttarashada as well. They're represented by Ganesha, an elephant-headed god who broke off one of his tusks. You'll see, any nakshatra tied to elephants, there will be teeth issues. There will be teeth issues that will come up. And this person needs to get them fixed as soon as possible, or it will cause problems in their life outside of just toothaches. So you'll see that. But another thing, elephants and bears, both, are very protective of their children. Very protective of their children. So Revati people care very much for children. They are very protective of them. Now, another thing that goes along with these teeth issues is Pushan, the deity of this nakshatra. He's the god of animals, basically. He's the shepherd of the gods, the veterinarian of the gods. Well, at a party, Shiva knocked out all of his teeth. Shiva was mad. So, once again, we see those teeth issues with this nakshatra. But these people will love the ocean with that fish symbolism. They'll love the ocean. They'll love being by water. They may want to live, by a river, by the ocean, but mainly the ocean with this nakshatra. We also see a love for animals. Pushan was the shepherd of the gods, the veterinarian of the gods. So these people have a tendency to love animals. This nakshatra is a nakshatra of gentle giants that love animals and are protective of animals and children. Like the greatest example I can think of with this nakshatra is Hagrid from Harry Potter. Like that is the penultimate example of this nakshatra. A half giant who's very protective of Harry, Ron, Hermione, who keeps baby dragons as pets and takes care of all the animals at Hogwarts. So, that's what we see with Revati, though. These people are kind of cool. I like this nakshatra. I'm a little biased. Okay, but what else do we see with this nakshatra? This nakshatra is strongly tied to fishing. Remember the fish symbolism once again. But not only is it tied to fishing, it's also tied to carpentry. So, for those of you that are Western, you might know where I'm getting at with this nakshatra. This nakshatra is the nakshatra of Jesus Christ. That's right. Even though this is a Vedic nakshatra, it is very strongly tied to Jesus. He's very strongly connected to this nakshatra. Doesn't matter what mythology you follow, what religion you follow, what spirituality you follow. These nakshatra's themes repeat in all of them. So, Jesus is very strongly tied to Revati. And the significant lesson that he taught with teaching a man to fish instead of just giving him fish. So, you will see fishing tied to this nakshatra. And also, carpentry. Jesus was a carpenter. So, these people might even want to be carpenters. That's a career that they might be interested in. Now, what else do we see with this nakshatra? Remember, Jesus is tied to this nakshatra. So, just like Shravana, this is the nakshatra of the one almighty God that's over all gods. Now, am I necessarily saying that the one true God is a Christian God? No. No, get that nonsense out of your heads. It's any. This is the God that doesn't care what religion you follow. It's the one above all of them. It's the God that all other gods adhere to. It is the source energy of this universe. That's Revati and Shravana. So, what you'll see with these people, they are gentle giants. They are very protective of children and animals. They, can be veterinarians. They can work with animals. They can work with children. They can protect children. They can be very creative. This is arguably the most creative nakshatra. But yeah. Now, another thing with this nakshatra, trying to remember before I forget it. Ah, there we go. Okay. This is also the nakshatra of loss. Of getting lost. Like, for instance, when Moon is transiting this nakshatra or aspecting it, I've seen like Amber Alerts where children have gone missing. People have a tendency to lose things when this nakshatra is running. So you see, they have this, protective nature of protecting children so that they don't get lost. Protecting animals so they don't get lost. Same thing. This is why children and animals often get lost. It's because of this nakshatra. It's tied to this. But yeah, with this nakshatra, why is it tied to loss? Well, it is the last nakshatra. The final nakshatra before we leave this world. So, it's tied to loss. It's tied to leaving. Leaving this world behind. Moving on to all kinds of fantastical worlds we can't even imagine. That's why it's strongly tied to fantasy. Strongly tied to outer space. But alright. This has been Revati Nakshatra. If you've liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out me and the channel. If you'd like a Vedic Sidereal birth chart, a personal tarot reading, or an astrology consultation, the links to those will be in the description box and the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.